It's to get a response like this from people who think they can just come up. Let me explain. You asked me a question. Right here.
Oh, this right here?
Yeah.
So it says that all Pembroke these premises.
Yeah.
Cleared to leave after verbal warning. They result of. Yeah. They think it was part of it. How you guys doing? I'm alright, brother. How's it going? Alright, can we see your IDs?
Let me see your ID.
Sergeant Christian Rogers.
No, your ID with your address.
Filming our police station. Yes, your ID.
Is that against the law?
Officer Rogers.
That's against the law? What law is it against?
Officer is your ID.
Because I thought Florida, I thought Florida Penal Code 901.151 states the only time I must present ID to you is when I'm in the commission of a crime, about to commit a crime, or have committed a crime.
Well, go ahead and investigate.
I don't have to investigate. I don't have to communicate. No, you're not saying my ID.
Yes, I do.
No. Not until you can have I committed.
This can be seen from public. Absolutely.
Right. So what crime?
I just want to know why you guys are filming it.
None of your business. None of your business.
You know what? I told you.
You're not saying my ID.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so that's fine.
I'd like to identify you guys. Look,
you don't need to identify me. Who are you?
I do, sir. Yes, I do. I got you right here.
Let me, if you want to see your ID,
What's your name and your badge number?
can I see your ID?
What's your badge number?
So what's your name?
Thank you. What's your name and your badge number?
You don't have a name. Your buddies call you D. D. My badge number?
Yeah.
92, sir.
92.
And your name and your badge number?
Is there a legal reason you want my ID, or do you just want to identify?
You would like to identify.
Well, I'm going to identify you.
No,
right
you're going to violate my rights to do
How
so.
am I violating your rights by
But because Florida states that the only time I need to give you my ID is when I'm committing a crime, about to commit a crime, or in the process of committing a crime. Articulable suspicion that I'm breaking the law.
You're filming the back.
That's not, the Supreme Court room photography in itself is not a crime. And this is a governmental, in the course of your duties. So what crime am I breaking?
You're filming the back of a police.
You said that 5 times. You don't need.
Court is over you, buddy. You don't trump the Supreme Court. We can film this without you liking it or not. So
You're laughing, but you're sitting up.
Not having an ego whatsoever.
You're gonna let your ego violate my right because you're telling me you better not be disrespectful to me. You're a public servant. Public servant. And you're gonna respect me as the public. And you're not.
Some respect though?
I don't have to respect you, but I haven't disrespected. And I'm telling you, and you're asking me, and I'm respectfully declining no. You're not getting my ID because I don't have to, because you haven't shown me yours.
Okay, why exactly you guys are filming our police station?
It's not your police station. It's our police station. This is our police station. It's not your for you to work here.
You're absolutely, you allow me to work.
Yes, by paying my taxes, giving you employment.
That's fine. What's your purpose here? Because I understand the first.
It's to get a response like this from people.
All right, guys, buckle up, because this starts with confrontation that escalates almost instantly. The officer demands identification. The auditor refuses. And suddenly an arrest threat enters the picture. That raises a central question driving this entire encounter. What legal basis does an officer need before demanding ID? Watch closely, because the auditor does not simply argue back. He repeatedly asks for the specific law supporting the demand. And that challenge sets the tone for everything that follows.
You're going to let me tell you. To get a response from a law enforcer whose job is to enforce law from law-abiding citizens.
You don't think it's suspicious that you're
It's suspicious? No, I don't. No.
So you're saying
a lawful activity is suspicious.
every day somebody's out here filming our back of the station, 2 guys.
Probably.
Just filming the back of the station.
But that don't make
It's alarming us.
It does, to whose definition?
To our safety.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question.
Absolutely.
It's suspicion of felony or misdemeanor.
It's not a crime.
So it's not a crime, so it's not a law, so you don't have anything to enforce.
It's filming the back of our facility, absolutely.
Okay, but is that against the law? What is your name and your badge number?
And
Your name and your badge number?
1006.
What is your name and your badge number, Sergeant?
Right now.
What is your name and your badge number, Sergeant?
Can I speak with him?
Well, then you kick rocks. Don't, to make sure you don't talk to me then.
For you to be
I'm not getting his name and his badge number like he's not a public servant. Make sure you don't talk to me then.
Well, so he's a sergeant as well. That's not sergeant.
Is your body cam on?
There was no crime committed, and he came out in the
You don't have a body cam?
going to identify us.
That was just for identification.
But why? But give me Florida Penal Code 901.151. Give me that penal code. Hey man, hey man, why you walking up behind me like that, man? That's not cool, man. Don't walk up. You got a gun, man. Don't walk up behind me like that. I know you be cool, but I'm just saying, don't walk up behind me like that.
You guys want to make a scene? You guys.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 police officers, but we're making a scene.
You guys are filming on $300 phones. If you want good equipment and film,
This is a Galaxy S7, buddy. This phone's $900.
But what's your purpose, bro?
Hey, listen.
So what?
Like
To come out. I told you already. I told you already.
I just want you to.
I wanted to come out and exercise a free right, freedom, and see how this guy's gonna respond to me. And that's exactly what happened.
All right, so do me a favor, come talk to me, will you?
No, I don't want to talk to you. You didn't want to identify yourself in front of my friend here. Because until you guys tell me what law I'm breaking.
First of all, we have the authority granted to us by the law. We never said you were breaking the law.
Right.
Okay?
So, and again, I'm going to say, until I break the law, and he's a sergeant.
But after we told you that I didn't want ID, why did you
You told me I was going to give it to you.
In any way, shape, or form.
Yes, you were. If your camera's rolling.
All right, have fun. Did I give you a hard time at all?
Can you take this officer with you, please? 'Cause I'm tired of hearing him talk.
Yeah, we're all done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night, guys.
So either just say hello, how you doing? Because this is the image that the rest of the world is going to see of the Pembroke Pines Police Department. All right.
Assholes who came here to do a job that was never done.
Good. Have a nice day.
Dummy.
So we can record, right?
The tension is now fully established. The auditor directly cites Florida statute and argues that identification is required only under specific circumstances, while the officer keeps demanding it. What makes this exchange so compelling is that neither side wants to give ground. The auditor keeps asking one simple question. What crime do you suspect me of committing? The officer points to the filming, but the auditor insists that recording from a public area is not itself a crime. The disagreement is becoming a battle over legal authority.
There's a sign there that says recording or photography of any here and see
You
how they
can't
do.
have this in here, sir. You have to go back outside.
Why not?
Do you see the sign?
Yeah.
So that by law,
Where's the law?
I don't know, but you can't walk in there. If you want to wait outside here with it, I'll go get it for you. Not with all that stuff.
Is this a Secretary of State building? Is this like a
It
public
is.
building?
It is.
Okay. Thank you.
Sir, you cannot. You can just come in. I'll call you, please.
Thank you. All right. Yeah, guys, so they don't even let me inside the door before they say something. She said she was going to call the local police department, or if they talk to them on the phone and educate them that we have a right to come in this building and record. So yeah, guys, stay tuned.
Now the conflict shifts from the police station to another location, where staff immediately challenge the auditor's presence and filming. They point to a sign and tell him to leave, while he questions whether the building is publicly accessible and whether the restriction has a clear legal basis. Then comes a call for police, which changes the stakes completely. At this point, the issue is no longer just about a camera. It becomes a test of whether officials can turn discomfort or suspicion into an enforceable order.
Wait for it. Here it comes. Almost there.
Good, how you doing?
They want you to leave, buddy.
That,
They can, so you can record all you want, but they still have control over their facility.
no, they do not. Building, sorry. I have to be doing something illegally or unconstitutional to be kicked out.
Yeah, it's part public. It's something I'm not,
Yeah.
I know you're auditing.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing a fit. Do you want to give me your ID?
No, thank you.
Okay, absolutely not. So let me go talk to them.
Publicly accessible areas, I'm not doing
I'm only getting a
anything.
part of it.
Yeah.
I think I've seen you before. You just do audit stuff, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it ain't...
I'm not doing anything bad. First thing I got to the door, she wouldn't even let me in, basically. So they started the interaction.
But you know you're going to have this reaction with that. I mean,
Yeah, and you got to think though, like I have different reactions everywhere I go. Some people want to give me directives and stuff, thinking they know what they're talking about. I do have social media platforms. I do put it on. I mean, I'll wait till after this interaction is done, and then I'll give you the channel and all that stuff. So yeah,
talk to them.
Yeah, for sure, man. Sorry about that. I don't want to get in your way there, sir.
You ever come to PDs?
I do go around to police
Have you been to ours yet?
departments. Maybe. I don't know.
The kind of reaction, my opinion, like me, you probably get offered to do a tour.
Okay. Okay.
So it's probably...
Yeah, I've been going around Missouri, and then I'm on the Illinois side and stuff. So,
I'm going and talk to them.
Yeah. Am I allowed to go back in there? And I'll stand here in the corner.
I prefer you not.
I mean, I'm not really instigating.
But it is what it is. I'm not saying.
I'm gonna follow you guys in there.
Yeah, I'm not saying
I just want to hear what they say. What's your name and badge number, by the way? Nice to meet you. All right, guys. So hopefully he's going back there and educating them that officer is coming back here. Let's see what he has to say.
All right, sir. Do you mind if we go outside and talk, just so that?
I'd rather talk right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk in front of people just because it's weird. You're not in trouble or anything. It'll be the same conversation out there. What about the middle of this one? All right. They're educated. They're looking into it. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing.
They are concerned that your stuff's going to pick up. Do this. I don't want to say professionally, but in my eyes, it's professional.
Right.
That you'd probably not go out of your way to do that kind of stuff. I'm not saying you are, but I told him, like, I'll go talk to him.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you that's not what he's here about.
Yeah, no, I'm not about getting like private information like that.
Yeah.
And filming that is not illegal. It's doing something with that information is where it turns illegal.
I agree. They were concerned about it on video and get it. And I told him he's not going to go zoom in and all that stuff.
Right.
And I'm not accusing you. I'm just letting you know they're okay. It is what it is.
Yeah,
so,
right. Appreciate
that's it, man.
Can I have your name and badge number? By the way?
Can I just give you a business card?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to say it for the camera?
Yeah, that's more
I'm not trying to be.
No, you're good.
I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything. I'm just blunt.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Yep.
What about first name? Give first name at all?
Meet you.
I thought that was going to fall.
No, it's tripod. Yep.
Right.
Nice to meet you.
All right. I appreciate
Thank you
that.
guys for going in there and educating.
After the suspenseful wait, the officer returns with a noticeably different approach. Instead of escalating, he explains that staff are concerned about personal information being captured, while the auditor clarifies that exposing private information is not his purpose. The officer even acknowledges that filming itself is not illegal. This is a key turning point because the confrontation could become hostile. Yet calm discussion starts moving both sides toward a workable resolution. That shift in tone matters.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Is there any way, and I could put my camera on, that you would talk to me off record so I could pick your brain on some stuff?
That's what I would like to record. I would like to hear what you would love, what you have to say.
Just your personal preference on like why you do this and stuff like that. If for me to, because I'll be honest, I don't want to show up on YouTube.
So are you the supervisor?
No.
Okay.
I am a supervisor, not the supervisor.
The First Amendment. I know you've seen videos about First Amendment auditing.
So
maybe.
Because the First Amendment is the reason why I said you get to stay there.
There you go.
And then I told me that Trump's policy and that Trump's things, unless your Secretary of State come here and have something that trumps that, by all means, things can trump it, but it's just very specific situations. And like you said, you're not hurting anybody.
Right.
This is what you do. But just kind of curious, like, and the auditing part, I get it.
Yeah.
But I just mean like, I don't know. I'm just curious, man.
Do you know the First Amendment parts?
Yes. So was it?
Assembly. So it's an acronym. It's
petition.
RAPPS.
Yes. Religion. Petition. Press. And then speech. Yes. There you go. Yep.
There's a lot of officers I encounter that don't know.
And I have my body camera off.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine. Everybody's, we're always being.
Let me a second. Paul 82. I'm 10-8 from this. Leave me a task where I can put a couple notes in. I'm just going to remain on scene having a casual conversation. Do you have like a group of people you talk to about it? Or it's just more of like you do it and then if you get a certain, I'm going to say a certain amount of response, and then you're just like, well, you're good. See you later kind of deal?
Like, it depends like where the place is. So like I go to public libraries, I go to DMVs, post offices, city, I was at the administration building not too long ago.
Up here in town?
Yes,
next to the courthouse?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, I went up there. I just record, man, and live life. This is what I like to do.
Okay, so you do it because you enjoy it?
Correct,
okay.
Correct.
So what is the worst instance that you could tell me about that's happened? And without putting my bed on blast, so like anything bad ever happened?
I've seen it happen on
like
all
videos.
Over, on videos, on social media.
That's what I was explaining to her. I'm like, we're not doing that today.
Did have an encounter at the police department, at the post office in Creve Coeur, Missouri. Knew everything I was doing. They went in there and educated those people, but the people put their hands on me, and too worried about that. But I haven't really encountered any negative officers, people who are trying to violate my right. Nobody's violating my right or anybody else who comes and does this in the future.
So under the First Amendment, what part of that do you think you're covered under this?
It's just speech. It's obviously press. If I had more people, it would be assembly.
And you weren't doing an audit.
Right.
And you were just going for a walk and you said, you know what, I want to take a nap in the middle of the DMV, would that be covered under the First Amendment, you think? Or would I be legally, and I'm just picking your brain.
Well, that would be loitering.
Okay.
There.
Yeah.
I have a purpose.
Yeah, I agree.
Correct.
This question was just proposed to me, and that was my answer.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'll just test it.
And just going to sleep, you know, you can't really
If
do
you ever
that.
want to come to our PD and record, I don't know what the rules are for coming in, like the confined. I would always call them, like, hey, if I do First Amendment audits, we'll probably give you a tour. I don't know why we wouldn't give you a tour of the whole place. If I have my body cameras on, I walk through the whole building. There's places I'm supposed to turn it off because we have computer screens and we have like legality of putting people's information out there.
There you go.
Law enforcement role. So I mean, it all gets recorded. It's all foilable, and they can foil.
Yes.
They can
Foil.
Yes. They can foil it, for Officer Wagner to decide. All right, man. I appreciate you. Man.
Yep.
I'm out of here. I'm getting rained on.
I just have a quick question.
Yeah.
Have you guys been educated going around all throughout the country?
Yeah.
And I was just wondering if you guys have been educated on the amendment, what we can and can't do.
Yes, that's been going on for probably the past 5 or 10
correct,
years.
Correct. And it's
and then depending on the situation, depends on how much rules we got.
Yeah.
One of the SOS cops is on his way.
Okay, gotcha. All right, yeah, we'll do.
All right.
So, yeah, no, it is what it is.
Yep.
So I guess I'm gonna hang out.
Yep. Yep. Right. Appreciate you. I'll be here as long as you guys are here. So.
Illegal blue lights on his car.
Well, I didn't catch that. I'm just catching right now. What happened?
Okay, let's see.
No, sir. You're in private property.
No, I'm not. You're
in private property.
Taking videos on public.
Then the temperature rises again. The auditor asks about the supervisor, and the response quickly becomes confrontational, including repeated commands to shut up and a threat of arrest. The auditor pushes back, asking what law he supposedly violated, and warning the officer not to let ego control the encounter. This section is powerful because the disagreement stops being theoretical. The two sides are now openly challenging each other's conduct, authority, and professionalism, while the possibility of detention suddenly feels very real.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
I'm gonna arrest you.
For what? For what? That's what I thought.
My supervisor is Lieutenant Carey. Thank you.
Lieutenant what?
Lieutenant Carey. Bye.
All right.
You don't have to be rude.
I'm telling you, if you walk up on me, dude, I'm gonna take you to jail. You need
For
to
what?
step back.
On you, what's the law? I'm walking
What's the
up
law?
on you.
What's the law?
What's the law on that?
What's the law?
It's called one to jail.
For what?
Back away from
what
me.
law? Go ahead.
Are you walking to him right now?
I did
Don't
not.
let your ego get in the way with this.
Tell your sergeant to back off.
Yeah.
Tell him to back.
Not walk up on my car.
You're backing up. You're backing up on me.
Walked up.
My ego.
Let your ego go.
Your ego is
Let your ego go.
You could tell.
I don't give a f.
You could tell.
If I was screaming in your face, you wouldn't like it, right?
Right. But the way he came at me first, you were not here.
I wasn't here. You're right.
Tiring ass like him.
But treat another human as another human, please. Okay?
You don't intimidate nobody. You see him? He's not even afraid of me. What the f?
But you are. Nobody says if you don't like
Bye.
it, get out.
Bye. You're dismissed. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Where are you?
Bye. Bye. Bye.
The confrontation continues with the auditor invoking Policy 37 and demanding that the officer identify herself and provide her badge information. What should be a straightforward transparency request turns into another tense exchange. The auditor argues that public employees are expected to follow the same rules they enforce, while the officer becomes increasingly frustrated. The issue is now bigger than one name or badge number. It is about whether citizens can demand accountability from the people exercising government authority.
Can you not please
Sure,
block the walker? You know it's illegal, right?
Yeah.
7. Policy number 37. You know about policy 37, right? Policy 37 badge number.
You don't know what
Policy 37 means that you gotta identify yourself to the citizens. Yeah, follow the rules. You ain't above the law. Just remember that. This is. So what's your badge number and your name? Public employee. You know, and thank you very much for moving. Because if you would have been a regular citizen, you would have given him a ticket, right?
What do you need?
So what is your name? Apologize.
Well, I'm sorry, sir. I've done talking.
Hey, I pay your salary. Remember that? Yes. Disrespect was public servant. You too. Follow the law. Follow the law. The oath of the Constitution. Remember the Constitution. You follow rules. I'm just saying.
What do you need?
What are you doing?
Do you need help?
Was that necessary? Was that necessary?
Do you need assistance? Do you need a hospital? Do you need
Public employee. I'm asking you a question. Was that necessary for
I'm
good?
not gonna go back.
Follow and give out a good example, okay? You have to give out good examples to the citizens because we pay you. Respecting the public. You need to start respecting the public. All right. Follow the law. Don't violate people's rights. All right.
Now a new complication appears. Detective McCormick says he wants to inventory the auditor's camera as evidence, immediately raising the stakes. The auditor refuses and insists that he is legally recording from a public area. The detective responds by calling the situation trespassing and questioning the refusal as a direct order issue. This is crucial because the camera itself becomes a focus of the dispute. What began as filming has now turned into a confrontation over whether police can take control of the recording equipment.
Pretty good. Thank you for yourself, sir.
Hi.
Yes.
Yes, I am. Can you write down your name stuff for me?
For what reason, sir?
I'm going to inventory that as evidence that this person...
I'm just catching right now what happened.
Okay, let's see.
No, sir. Sir, you're in private property.
No, I'm not. You're
in private property.
taking videos on public.
Of course, they said that you can do that.
You can do that,
Yes.
but I can inventory your camera.
No, you can't. No, go
as
get it, sir.
evidence.
No, sir.
Yes,
no,
I
you're
can.
there.
Why not? Can I have your
You're
camera?
trespassing.
Well, let me tell you.
What is your name, sir? Your officer?
My name is Detective McCormick, and I've asked you
What
once
is your badge?
for your camera so I can inventory it as evidence of this stop. But you refuse to.
What?
So you refuse a direct order of a police officer.
I'm in private property right now. I can do this, and I could film. It is legal for me to film. There's nothing illegal here. I'm in private property, and I'm recording. This is public.
I just wanted to know if you donated for evidence.
No, maybe if you give me your card, then I'll do it. And just to let you know, I did not catch no blue lights on the recording, so there's no evidence. All I'm doing is just that's all. I'm a concerned citizen of here, Chicago, and I pay my taxes.
Then help the police. Let me inventory.
Like I said, okay, like I said, I didn't, sir, Mr. Detective, I did not catch it. Like I said.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Yes, sir. May you have a good day. Can you believe this, officers? No, what they're doing is it's not even cool.
It's not. I saw the blue.
You see it?
I saw it. What did the blue light mean?
Because you're not supposed to ride around with blue lights.
Oh yeah, because the. Get upstairs, man. Jump off, get upstairs.
What's wrong, baby?
So now you're illegally running me through David.
Here comes one of the most serious escalations. The officer tells the auditor that he must provide his driver's license or face jail for resisting. Instead of complying quietly, the auditor challenges a demand, invokes the Fourth Amendment, and asks for a supervisor. He argues that there is no identified crime and therefore no legal basis for forcing him to identify himself. Keeping him there while a supervisor is requested adds another layer of tension because the disagreement has now become a direct question of constitutional authority.
Under the statute,
looting... Here's what's going to happen. You're going to give me your driver's license here in a minute, or you're going to go to jail for resisting.
Since then, I'm going to file an internal affairs complaint on you for violating my Fourth Amendment right. Name and badge number, sir?
My name's Monster.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to give you my Florida investigator's license, which is... This is incredible. You deputies have no problem violating people's rights, man. Constitution, correct? Is that correct? Yeah. Can't get that damn thing out of my wallet.
Sheriff, what now?
Unbelievable. What county is this? Do you all violate citizens' rights all the time? No response to that, deputy? No response to that. Suspects me of no crime. I haven't broken the law. Has required to give me identification. Quell his suspicion of whatever it is he has of me. Can you call a supervisor on scene for me, please? I asked for a supervisor.
If you want to sit around and wait for a supervisor, we're more than happy to do that.
Well, you got no problem sitting here detaining me for you to call a supervisor. I'm glad you got a smile on your face while you're violating my rights. You taking an oath to the Constitution, deputy? Ought to be ashamed of yourself. Suggest you refresh yourself on the law and what reasonable suspicion is. You go ahead and smile now. I will be, not that your corrupt internal affairs will do anything about it. Apparently you boys in blue don't know how to break that line.
Phil Hoffman, 1031 to 69 is 54 cars 2021. You need the number?
54.
So now you're illegally running me through David.
No public records exemption on tags, right?
Public what?
There's no public
Yeah, but you also know there's a state, you have to have a reasonable cause. That's why that state trooper, that's why the Florida Highway Patrol trooper got sued, right?
Hey, sir, listen. If I ran your emergency, that we're not allowed.
6429 with a valid decal till October 31st.
You know, we got stuff
May I ask?
Because you're parked in front of a house you do not live in.
Is that suspicious?
That's the bottom line.
Is that suspicious?
It's very suspicious. You don't even live
and everything, right? At this time and age.
Okay. You need to move your vehicle out from in front of her house.
Why? Okay. So you're saying it's illegal for me to sit there?
Is there even a shoulder? You're parked in the grass. Is there even
it's an easement. 33 feet from the center line. Are you giving me a lawful command?
You can go, or you can wait for the supervisor to come.
I'm going to wait for the supervisor.
Please.
Why can't I go back in my vehicle?
Because I'm standing out here and I don't know what's in your vehicle. If you want us to stand here to wait for a supervisor, you're acting. I'm not going to let you get back in your vehicle unless you're leaving. Because I don't know what's in your vehicle.
So can I not stay on the side of the road vehicle and sit there?
Or you can stand right here and wait for the supervisor because I don't know what's in your vehicle.
Are you going to stay here and wait as well?
I'm going to stand right here and wait.
If the supervisor leaves and you leaves, am I allowed to sit there and stay there? That's a simple yes or no question. I am working.
Okay, where are you working?
That's none of your damn business.
Had this much problem.
People know how to stand up for their rights and can't stand arrogant, illegal acting cops. That's why. You came here to, I'm sitting on the side of a road, I haven't broken a law, and you abused your authority. That gun and that's of rights.
Can I just ask you a quick question?
Sure, go right ahead.
Do you have a house?
Do I have a house?
Do you live somewhere? You're being sarcastic, and I'm just asking you honest questions. You're getting upset. I'm not even saying that. So you live in a house? You got private property, right?
Yeah.
If somebody was parked right in front of your house, like that vehicle is, would that rouse your suspicion?
Perhaps, yeah.
Would you call law enforcement?
No.
Yourself and go out there and do it?
May or may not.
Okay, well, not everyone has that courage, sir. They're not as brave as you. So that's when they call us, because this is who we. So I came here.
Yep.
Now I have to verify who you are.
Well, let's stop right there. Let's stop right there. See, you think this is funny, Deputy?
No, I do not.
These are only two gentlemen, okay? You do understand the Fourth Amendment, right, Deputy? What does the Fourth Amendment guarantee? You're going to lose that.
You keep shutting me down. I'm trying to explain to you what's going on.
No, you're not. You're avoiding it. I'm answering your questions, and you don't want to answer. Amendment right, guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution, it says, I am free from illegal search and seizures. In order for me to ID myself, again, listen to me carefully. In order for me to be required to identify, I must A, be under arrest, or B, you must have RAS or PC that I have committed to commit a crime.
Exactly.
You have none of those standards. You have come here and
You didn't even listen to me. You didn't listen to me, sir.
Suspicion.
I have, and that's all I need. Reasonable suspicion that a crime is or about or has been committed.
A deputy not understanding the English language. Okay? Listen to me once again. In order to yourself, see, you don't want to listen.
Going in circles.
No, because you're not
You're standing
listening.
here for the supervisor. I don't particularly want to talk to you anymore. You're free to get in your place,
Listening.
or you can wait for the supervisor.
What crime do you suspect me of committing?
This is a legal showdown the entire encounter has been building toward. The auditor explains his understanding of the Fourth Amendment and repeatedly asks what specific crime the deputy suspects him of committing. The deputy insists that suspicion is enough, while the auditor argues that the required standard has not been met. Then Sergeant Phillips arrives and begins hearing both sides. That changes the dynamic immediately. The argument is no longer just between the auditor and one deputy. A supervisor is now evaluating what happened.
How you doing, ma'am?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. My name is Mike Hoffman.
Okay, I'm Sergeant Phillips.
Your ID number, Sergeant Phillips?
409.
Explain to you what's happened.
It's my understanding someone called in about your vehicle being parked on private property.
Okay.
All right. And then that you weren't having, so
Okay.
they called me.
May I ask you, is what I'm doing sitting here, is that a crime?
If this is private property, without looking at,
You know what public easement is,
I know what an
correct?
easement is,
Okay. All right. Now, for us for a while.
Correct.
I'm sure, although not semantically accurate with the law, you're probably accurate enough to know, and the fact that someone pulled right off the shoulder is on public easement. I mean, if you would give me that much? Okay. Let's go with the public easement. Where I'm parked, is that a crime?
well, let me ask you this. Being there?
I do.
What's that?
I don't need one. I will articulate to you why I'm here,
Okay.
but I don't need one. I can be simply parked there for no reason whatsoever.
Well, I'm not going to argue right now, easement or not, okay? I'm saying right now we're here for a reason. Someone called us to come check out their house.
And that is totally acceptable, and I have no issue with that. I think you're doing your job there, and I think that's your job, and I have no issue with that.
Okay.
Deputy over here demanded under the threat of arrest for me to ID myself when I clearly articulated to this deputy, right, not only that, under Florida statute and Florida Constitution, under Florida statute, he must either have that I've either committed a crime or about to commit a crime.
I'm going to stand over here if you don't mind.
Before I am required by law to present an ID.
Hold on just 1 second. 49.
So now these deputies are going to try to find a reason to jam me up. Okay, so do you agree with what I just said?
Well, let me, like you said, we're here for a reason.
I don't disagree.
All right. So when we identify them so we know who we're out with.
That's your policy. I agree with that. But again, I'm talking about the law when he has a right to demand. Code 18, Section 242, which is deprivation of rights under the color of law. When you all put that badge on and take an oath, you become what's under the color of law. Meet certain requirements in order to use that authority under the color of law. What he did was threaten me with arrest after him that he had to have certain standards met to demand ID from me. Isn't that correct?
Have you, at any point, have you given them ID? Okay, so you provided ID. Obviously,
under the threat of being arrested.
Okay, so obviously we know who you are.
Yes.
Purpose for being
I'm
here,
an investigator, as I explained to him.
Private investigator?
That's correct. Before I gave him my ID, I said, look, I'm an investigator, I'm working. Who I was working. And actually, under the law, if I'm not allowed to tell law enforcement, I can get in trouble with the law if I tell you who I'm working.
Well,
493.
Well, I know in the past when we
What?
have a...
I never asked you.
I'm sorry?
I never asked you who you're working.
Fast on that, deputy?
Listen, I'm standing here to help. Okay, just...
Yeah, but he just told a lie.
Okay, well, I know in the past when people are working as a
Yes.
to let them know I'm out here at this address so we don't get calls like this, right? So we could have avoided this whole
Well, no, that's not necessarily true. And you are courtesy, it's not a requirement.
Right.
But I have found in the recent past, irregardless if I call in or not, I'm approached. I've had deputy tell me to come out and approach you. So it does no good to call in. And at times, calling in has got me burnt on cases. So I use my starting point. So, you know, normally when you do call in, it's from a starting point. I can't call in every time I go mobile. Since for me to call 5 or 6 times when my subject goes mobile, you know, okay, now I'm at this location. It's you know what I'm saying? So now, again, to the semantical part and why I'm upset, why this deputy violated my rights, and I want to lock you down on that because I feel you're being right. I know I'm right. I'm an activist in my personal life. I've been an investigator for 16 years. I'm ex-law enforcement. He wants to say it's a joke because it was in the Department of Corrections. Yeah, whatever. And I say that just to try to get some professional courtesy, you know. Bottom line, Sergeant, he thinks he's done nothing wrong. I'm going to file an internal affairs complaint on him, but I want to start. And nothing. Look, I'm not going to kid myself. Nothing's going to. And you know, it's not a thin blue line. It's a thick ass blue line. I used to be part of it. I understand it. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. Gentlemen, first of all, I want you to acknowledge,
well, I guess what like you said, if you're prior law enforcement, corrections, whatever, and you said professional courtesy, it's
I did. When I got out of the vehicle, I raised my arms, told him I had no weapons. I lifted my shirt up. I turned around to give him officer safety, so he has no threat to him.
Right.
Okay, I expelled that threat. Then I came over and we were talking, and he says, well, I want your ID. I said, well, to go. I explained to him I'm an activist in my personal life and I stand up for my rights. And I explained to him, it's not that I don't want to give you my ID, but because I'm an I explained to him about the Fourth Amendment, and I explained he doesn't have a legal right to demand my ID.
Well, we're here for, this was a self-initiated call. We got a call from a citizen. We have a legal right to be here.
Yes,
and
yes.
To find out who you are and know what
Are you, and I'm looking for, nobody will answer. When I confronted him on that, he wants to turn around and laugh and smile. But what I said, is it not said in the state of Florida for a Terry stop, okay?
This isn't a Terry stop.
Exactly, it wasn't a traffic, and I'm not required, in the state of Florida, under statute, in order for me to be required to ID myself, you must either suspect to commit a crime, and you must either have PC of that or RAS. He kept on saying his reasonable suspicion, his standard is for me to be required to ID. And I asked him, sir, suspicion of what crime? And he's like, I don't think you, do you see where I'm going?
I do. But I guess I would like to, at this point, move on though and try to get this resolved.
Is it going to be resolved? I would like acknowledgement, and if you don't feel comfortable, I'd like for you to say so for the record. Or is he right? Because again, he threatened me with arrest. It's all on video, his and mine. I will be filing a PRR, all on audio and video. I have mine. I missed most of it because I wasn't recording it right away. It wasn't until he threatened me with arrest. You know, this guy's going to put, and he told me, if you don't get your ID out, I'm going to take you to jail. I'm going to arrest you. He's threatened to do bodily harm to me, kidnap me. And I know that may be a funny term, but legally that's what it is when he doesn't have the authority. And then you know what he tells me? I forgot about this part. He says, I can't be there. He told me to get in my truck and leave. Then he wouldn't let me go back to my truck. Thinks I'm going to go get a weapon and shoot him.
Okay. Well, that's officer safety.
Well, no, it's not. I'm not being detained. He doesn't expect me to
stop when we approach a vehicle. If someone needs to get something out of their vehicle, we walk with them.
But it's over with. He was done with me. He said I couldn't get back in my vehicle until he left.
All right. Like I said, you're here on a job, and I know you said you won't tell. You looked it up on the public appraiser's website, and of course, the easement somewhere here doesn't exactly.
The vehicle from the center line.
This isn't a state road.
Let me finish. I believe on county roads, I know I'm right on state roads. I believe county roads is 13 feet. You know, so I state that because I'm not absolutely sure. State roads, 33 feet. So, again,
right, like I said, I want to move forward at this point and try to resolve it. Obviously, like I said, they were here on a call. She's, you know, a mom here.
Problem with none of that.
So when they show up and make contact with you, they have a right to ask for your identification.
Ask. They have a right to ask with arrest, which he did.
Well, honestly, right when they show up on a call and they ask for your ID and you refuse to give it, could be considered resisting without. That is an arrestable offense.
I know the subsection for resisting without violence. You know, I'm an activist. I'm pretty well versed in the laws. I do this in my personal life. I've been arrested 3 Florida Supreme Court. One of them is over this very same matter, which I'm about to sue the state for $5 million from what I'm doing. And again, you all can't use, and I apologize for my tone and my what could be perceived as hyper. Take my freedom away. And he doesn't have a right. You all can make excuses or try to justify concern.
And to identify you.
You don't. Ma'am, you're a deputy. Do you know what the law says? What does the law say?
Because we did not self-initiate. She calls in a suspicious vehicle. She doesn't know the vehicle. She doesn't know if there's someone inside the vehicle. So when we get here, down here, if you're waiting to kidnap a kid, we don't know that if you're a sex offender and not supposed to be by a bus stop. We don't know all that until we identify you.
But that's what I'm asking you to say, because that's what this whole issue's over. We're dancing around it with every other thing. I don't disagree with you on anything you said. ID. I mean, and again, you've yet to answer that. I've told you 3 times what the law. and you've not yet acknowledged it or denied it. And I would think a deputy of the statute of sergeant would be pretty well versed in what it takes, code 18242, deprivation of rights under the color of law. Okay?
Well, based on your knowledge of the law and stuff like
Will
that.
you do this for me? Will you research it today? And just out of get any. Just you're not at all. You've been very polite. You haven't threatened me with violence or arrest. I appreciate that more than you know. There's many times I get the attitude these two deputies have shown, and this guy here thinks everything's a joke. Okay, you know. So what I'm asking you to do is, for the future, please take the law, and I'll give it to you one final time. In the state of Florida, the statute says to demand, not ask, you must have reasonable, articulable suspicion that I've committed, or PC, that I've committed a crime.
And we don't know why you're here if you are about to commit a crime until we identify who you are.
Do you know what that means? You don't get to use that as an excuse. You're able to articulate what crime I've either committed or about to commit. You don't get to say, oh, well, we think you might commit it. You might be wanted. You might be a child molester. You might be just
Which, like you said, though, you understand our
do, but I also expect you of taking an oath to the Florida Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, and expect you to uphold the law, because you guys take every opportunity to say that I'm enforcing the law. They're not so quick to stand fast on it, and that's what that deputy has done. He has broken the law by violating my. That's maybe all. We can just brush that aside. That's no big deal. We're doing what we're supposed to do. I'm asking you to look, we're losing our way in this country, deputy. Citizens' rights are getting violated. Citizens are getting killed. This is a terrorist.
All right.
So we're done. I appreciate it.
I guess, are you going to move?
I'm going to stay there. Okay. I have every legal right to be there.
Okay.
This person come out.
You'll get out and talk.
I'm like, hey, I'm an investigator. Here's my license. I show them my ID real quick. Number one, they're not law enforcement. But I want to put them at ease. Well, it was parked in front of my house.
You would call too.
No, I wouldn't.
Or you go
damn
out.
right.
But a female home by yourself probably
I understand that. Ma'am, I'm an investigator. If you feel comfortable, call the shit. If that makes you feel more comfortable, here's my license. You know, because I don't want this. But, you know, I appreciate your time very much. I asked you two things. I'd like you to research the law. I want him counseled. I will be doing a PRR on his video and audio, and I will be following it into my claim. Thank you for your time, ma'am. Is it okay for me to go to my vehicle?
Finally, both sides are forced to explain their positions. The auditor describes the arrest threat, the demand for ID, and why he believes his rights were violated. The sergeant explains that officers responding to a suspicious vehicle call have a reason to identify the person involved, while the auditor keeps pressing for the exact legal standard. The disagreement remains, but the exchange exposes the real issue. Where does reasonable concern end and lawful authority begin? If this was valuable, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.